Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Juicy. We're doing our Louisiana Ragin Cajun men's basketball preview for this week, and we're keeping up with Louisiana Ragin Cajun women's basketball as well on this episode here on the Fishbowl Radio. Without further ado, let me introduce everybody to everybody's favorite uncle, Juicy. How you doing today, Juicy?
Oh, I'm good. Everybody's uncle. That's the point of an
Everybody's
introduction
Unc.
there.
That's Unc right here on the show right now. We got Unc. So let's kind of look at the standings here a little bit real quick for the Cajuns here. Look, overall records don't mean nothing when you get in conference play. It's basically a brand new season. So the Cajuns are 5-12 overall, which if you're looking at is only 29% winning percentage. But within that, they're 3-2 in conference play, and they're only one game behind South Alabama and Old Dominion for the conference lead there. So this is looking pretty good, Juicy. As far as conference play goes here, I mean they lost to Old Dominion. That was one game they did play. So with the win against UOM, how you feel about their upcoming schedule against at Arkansas State, at UOM, and Texas State here? Sunbelt's not really good at basketball, so what you thinking about these upcoming matchups here?
I'm thinking they got some pretty favorable matchups coming up with especially with uh ULM and Texas State after the Arkansas State game. The two teams that are lower than them in conference standings right now. Two teams that really just are struggling really bad right now, even more than them. But that Arkansas State game is going to be a little bit interesting. I mean, they're 12-5 overall, but that doesn't matter overall record. Like you said, it could really give if they beat Arkansas State, it'll really give them a big boost into the conference standings for sure. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's definitely doable to win all three of those games, especially if they win all three of them too.
if you look out a little bit further, they played Texas State like twice in the month of January, 22nd and the 30th. Arkansas State that on the road there, RPI is a 51 right now. Cajuns haven't really done very well against like these higher ranked RPI teams. Their highest ranked RPI team they've played at all this year was Houston way back in November, and they lost 91-45. That was when Bob Marlin was the head coach. Now they're kind of in the interim phase here, which could potentially become a, full-blown hire if they decide to go that route there. But they beat ULM. I think they'll end up getting the win against them again as we look forward here to them because they're 2-14. I mean, against Division One teams here. The net ranking is what really compiles it all up for these teams against Division One because RPI gets kind of skewed a little bit. Because the Cajuns net's like 331, their RPI 301. Strength of schedule is 135. So not very strong schedule. Looking at the situation here, Arkansas State, they will probably lose this game on Thursday, but if they can win this on Thursday, that would be a huge win for them. And if they could beat UOM, that would be a good two for to go there. And then they got Texas State and Southern Miss, which I think they could beat Southern Miss next Saturday. Texas State's gonna be at home, so it's gonna be kind of one of those that you have to win the ULM game for sure when you're looking ahead for conference positioning and stuff because they're kind of more of a toward the bottom of this conference list here because they haven't won a conference game yet. ULM, Arkansas State's currently at third. They're 3-2, just like the Cajuns are. This is why this game is such a big game for the Cajuns. So if they beat Arkansas State, they'll get the tiebreaker over them being 4-2, and then go on to beat ULM, be 5-2 there. Then you got to hope for South Alabama and Old Dominion to drop either one or two games in the process of doing that. So that is something that's looking forward to the Cajuns here. That I think if you look ahead to this updated, they shot pretty well against UOM. The Cajuns did. I mean, with the free throws, they shot 87.5%. I mean, that's not, but the Cajuns have struggled to get to the line. Compare like every game that I've looked at so far, they're always getting outshot with free throw attempts. And those free throws really add up a lot because it's easy points. It's give me's basically. UOM shot 15 to 25, which is good for 60%. Cajun only won by 3 points here. They came back from behind after trailing at half by 5 points, and they was able to beat the UOM here. Cajuns second chance points, offensive rebounds. That's a big key stat when you're looking at 13 out rebounded 13 to 12 over UOM in that game there. And the personal fouls 15 for the Cajun, 13 for UOM, but they got to the free throw line, UOM. And when you look at Old Dominion, it was kind of the same thing here. Old Dominion got there 20 out of 26. Cajuns were 11 of 19. So you got to get to the free throw line more if you're the Cajuns here because those are giving you points and offensive rebounding is huge. Cajuns out rebounded Georgia State when they played them 14 to 13, and Old Dominion out rebounded them 10 to 7. So if the Cajuns are gonna get second chance points, I think I would feel good about them, and that's how the last 3 games have came out for them here. And whenever the Cajuns have out rebounded somebody in offensive rebound so far in the last 3 games, they're 1-2. But Georgia State was shooting very well that night. That's the reason why they were able to win that one. Georgia State was they shot 52, then 52 from the floor. From field goal range, and 59% from the floor, and 36% beyond the arc. So that kind of tells the story of that game here. Old Dominion, Caden shot a little bit better, but they're only 25% beyond the arc. Old Dominion was 33%. They went 7 to 21. Cajun were 3 to 12 in that game. And
You just
Cajun
got to shoot
shot,
better.
yeah,
Awful.
11 of 28 from beyond the arc for that one. They were shot. They did better than UOM did beyond the arc here. If the Cajuns can hit 3 pointers, they typically have better success there. So that is something we're going to look forward to when we get further down the road here. Now, what you think of Juicy about this upcoming schedule here? How you think it plays out here, and give us some predictions for this upcoming week. I got them dropping Arkansas State and winning against UOM for this week. Until they if they can beat Arkansas State, it'll be a really huge jump for them. What you thinking though?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm on board with that. I mean, I see the Arkansas State game being tough unless they shoot like ridiculously well. Out offensive rebound, would they do best unless they really have their A++ game on that and shoot ridiculously well. That'd be the only way. They have to have A+ performance, I would think, to be able to beat Arkansas State. But I think they'll drop that and win the next 2 after that.
All right. So we're gonna transition to talking about Louisiana Ragin Cajun women's basketball here. Now, women's basketball, a little bit better performance so far, which is really good on that regard there. So for the women, the Cajuns are just right there. They're only 1 game back of the Sunbelt Championship League, which is held by JMU in that regard there. So that is something to I mean, if you're excited about it, obviously, if you're a Cajuns fan, obviously. So with that being said there, they got at Arkansas State, at Troy, then 2 home games back against the same team, Arkansas State and Troy again. Um, they got them on Wednesday and Saturday. So Arkansas State 7-7 on the year. Troy's 8-7 in play right there. So as we pull up the women's basketball standings and see where everybody's kind of jostling for positions here. Um, the Cajuns have a very veteran team this year, so they've been able to do very well with that so far this year, with Lafayette leading the way, and then you got Tamara Johnson and Lene Wheaton. They're doing their thing right there. So this year's been kind of an interesting year for both these teams here. James Madison, perfect 5-0. The Cajuns are 4-1. Troy's 4-1. So that's a tough matchup for them. Arkansas State's 4-1. So they're this is gonna really be the deal breaker for the Cajuns women this week here. These are gonna be 2 pretty good games, and they gotta play them back to back. So if you split here, you gotta make sure you go do the opposite the next week for sure. But if you win both,
Mhm.
and you can win both again, win the next 4 games, you'll be in a really good position there. But I don't think they'll be able to do that here. I think they'll probably best case scenario for the Cajuns. I think they get 3 out of 4 with the wins here. And then, because I mean they almost beat James Madison. They only dropped by 5 points at home to them here. So what you think, Juicy? How you think you see these next four games going out for the Cajuns women?
Well, for our lovely women here, I mean, I could see the Arkansas State. Realistically, I think they could split. I think 2-2 split realistically over the next four games, being that they got uh, Arkansas State, Troy. I don't know who made that schedule, but that's kind of ugly. But I think honestly it'll be a split, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's probably the more realistic approach, probably a 2-2, because the road games here. So if you want to look at how the Cajuns have played at home here, the Cajuns so far at home are 5-2, and on the road they're 2-2. And the neutral site they're 0-2. They're 4-1 in conference here, 7-6 overall, and that's not including the non-division one win against Dillard in there. So, um, looking at that there, I think a 2-2 split is looking likely, but I'm gonna go with a 3-1. I think they'll win back-to-back games. I feel like they'll beat Arkansas State twice in this thing. I think they'll split with Troy. I think they'll take one. It might be at home or it might be away, but these next four, I think that's how I see that lining up for them there. And with that, if they got a 3-1 record there, um, and Troy will probably be they'll have two, and I think they'll probably be like 7-2. Cajuns probably be 7-2 at that point as well. So I think they'll probably end up being tied. Arkansas State's gonna drop. I think they're gonna drop both games to the Cajuns here. I think they'll lose two as well there. And because you look at the RPIs, you look at the schedule they had, Cajuns had a tougher road for them, like playing LSU, playing Auburn. These are not easy games for them to win in any means, and playing Minnesota. They've had a tougher non-conference, and it's really paying off for them in the conference
Mm-hmm.
schedule here. So I think with that there, I think that's what I see. What you think about the non-conference for the Cajuns, Juicy?
Yeah, it's helped them. I agree. You hit it on the head about the non-conference. They really played a tougher one. I think it's playing tougher games makes you a tougher team for conference schedule to me. So I think they'll be all right for the rest of the season. But like I said, we're gonna split those next four games, and we'll see what happens come March Madness, as they say.
All right, I think that's all we got for this episode here on the Fishbowl Radio. We're gonna talk to y'all next time here, and we'll see what the Cajuns do this weekend or this week, more or less here this week here for the Cajuns. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great, wonderful day. We'll see you here next time. Fishbowl Radio. Have a good night, Fishbowl
All
Nation.
right, Fishbowl.